Alright, time for another draft science video presentation. So this Stephen Brozo, and he did tell me his name was Bro. So he has a video of the two-slit experiment where he's making sort of a satire of David Attenborough, and he renames it, Stephen something Bro. So obviously he told me his name was Stephen Bro. Okay, so this idea that we're supposed to pronounce it BROUGH obviously wouldn't have worked for Stephen Attenborough to say Stephen Attenborough. Wouldn't make any kind of sense as a joke, would it? No. So anyway, so Bruffy has made a video for the Veritasium contest, and it's just it's hilarious in the sense that it perfectly validates everything I've been saying. I mean, everything I've been saying. So he's got this, what is a reasonable perspective, one that somebody should have pointed out before. But it's obviously a logical consequence of exactly what I've been saying. So here's the idea. So instead of two slit, it's the two stick experiment, right? And so what would two sticks, right? So if we make two sticks with an air gap and another stick, what does that duplicate? In terms of, it's exactly the same as the double slit in the same sense of the surfaces are exactly the same, right? I mean, that's the idea. It's the surfaces. So he's basically just pointing out that I'm exactly right, that there's 4 point sources, and that's why the two sticks do exactly what the two openings would do in terms of make the same pattern, because it's about the distance between these lines and these lines. Just as in the double slit, it's about these two surfaces and these two surfaces. So he's perfectly validating exactly what I've been saying. Is the experiment doesn't care about these openings, just as it doesn't care that the opening is here, the opening is here, and the opening is here. It just cares about the surfaces. The surfaces. So, yeah. Whatever. I mean, how many points for me, right? A huge number. So we'll play this piece of crap. It's just, he's always got to be annoying. So he had to do all this editing crap, music crap. It's a science. It's supposed to be a science video. It's a science video.
Why isn't the two-stick experiment as famous as the two-slit experiment? That's the two.
So you should do these talking, since it's only 1 minute of you talking, you should try to do it really well. So this isn't even the best picture of the experiment he has, but anyway. So yes, but this is the real pattern, the one Dr. Lincoln didn't really show in his video, blah, 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 blah. But that's okay with Steve.
Two-slit experiment. This is the two-stick experiment. We don't normally get to see the full double slit pattern.
Right, and why is that? So why don't you just say something meaningful instead of something meaningless? Why don't we see the real pattern? Why don't they show the real pattern? It's because it can't be made by Young analysis. It can't be made as the Young double slit experiment. It won't work. The waves won't produce the double pattern. It has no hope. 2 waves can't make this pattern. 4 sources can. 4 sources at the surfaces, as you're going to prove in a sense by duplicating the surfaces in the inverse manner and showing kind of decisively that it's only the one opening experiment in a way. The two-stick experiment is the one opening experiment, right? It's really got 3, whatever you say, accesses to the universes,
So this makes exactly the same pattern. Does nobody else find it ridiculous?
So this is a better pattern, actually, right? So little bars, and it's got quite a few of them per node, maybe 15. So it's a good pattern. The center maxima is twice the size of the normal nodes. perfectly consistent with everything I've been saying. Perfectly consistent with everything I've been saying.
That you can make a double slit pattern without double slits. So I call this the two stick experiment. A double slit pattern.
Right, the four surface experiment is the simple statement. That's what I've been saying for I don't know how many years now, right? It's about the surfaces. 2 surfaces in the single slit, 4 surfaces in the double slit. Duh.
Made without double slits. Why did it take me 3.5 years to discover it even existed? What?
Well, I probably helped by pointing out there's 4 surfaces. Yeah, that's probably helped you.
Hey, the internet is full of people claiming to be experts on the double slit experiment, and they seem to be showing us all the things that they think.
So they're not experts. That's the whole point, right? There's no doubting that Feynman obviously wasn't an expert in the sense that he didn't even show us in his video the right pattern. He showed us the single slit pattern and called it the double slit pattern. In the video we just, Dr. Quantum video, right? Same thing. They don't show us both patterns. In Dr. Lincoln's video, did he show us both patterns? No. Did he highlight both patterns existing? No. Did he explain that we have to explain 2 patterns existing? No. So this has been how it's always been. You're saying they're experts, but what's the point in saying they're experts when it's so overtly dishonest and so overtly misrepresenting the actual factual results of the experiment? And yes, they always qualify by saying, well, if you have an infinitesimally small openings. And what are infinitesimally small openings? Oh, those are point sources that can't matter. Those are point sources so close together that you can't draw 2 lines of a different length from them. They're so close together. So they're irrelevant. You can't have a wavelength of difference in the path if there's not a wavelength of difference in the distance between the sources.
Fascinating, and yet this is more fascinating than any of them, really. This ought to be an experiment they do in school.
No, what they ought to do in school is just point out that wave theory is kind of silly because waves wouldn't propagate from these locations. The surfaces are clearly the source of the fringes. That's the point that should be realized and seen, and it was made clear by Isaac Newton, essentially. And since then, all they did was get sidetracked.
These now cost about 90 quid. This costs nothing. This one now costs about 30 quid.
I don't know. What's 30 quid? 30 pounds or something? What? Where did you? Where did you buy it from? Whatever. Captain, you're a sucker. I mean, did you buy it from somebody who just, Mr. 3-card Monty? I mean, sorry. Yeah, you got ripped off.
This costs nothing. The results look clearer, more professional. A double slit pattern you've probably never seen before. You can see the small fringes.
It looked like you just had on a curved screen in the previous frame, right? It looked like a curved screen to me. Oh, interesting. Let's see. Let's do that one again.
See the small fringes have got wider.
No, something, I missed it somehow. Well, let's go back a little bit.
Probably never seen.
Yeah, that looks like a curved screen, doesn't it? Yeah, it does look like he's putting it on a curved screen. Yeah.
Seen before. You can
see. Look like a curved screen. Oh, it's so funny.
The small fringes have got wider.
Alright, the small fringes have gotten wider. So he's saying that as they go out, they're getting bigger somehow. Which, I don't think so, Steve. I don't think that's a very good illustration of it. What they've done is gotten a little darker. I mean, less size, and therefore they look bigger, smaller relative to the dark spaces. But they certainly don't look wider going that way. No. So, again, it's just the number of photons. The distance from center to center didn't change any, Steve.
Why?
So all that crap, thanks for watching. He even throws that crap into a 1-minute video. Oh, jeez, it's just so pathetic. So anyway, all his rhetoric, all this talk, and he just basically said, here's a big giant pot of corroborating evidence for everything you've been saying, Gary. So in spite of all his bullshit commentary, he's basically saying, yes, you must be right, because look, it works so perfectly. It was, I get rid of this openings altogether, right? I mean, pretty much just wipe out the two-wave theory entirely. Two-wave theory's gone with your two-stick theory, right? Because now you're stuck with one opening and one wave again. So you're just making my point for me. Thank you. Oh, too stupid. All right, so I'll just leave it as this one video. He did another video, so we'll make a video to that. Yeah, we'll just play it. I mean, 3 days ago I pointed out that this is about an ellipse, and I pointed out that the ellipse is so tiny in terms of how much it's off being a perfect circle that there's no possible way it could mean much. And of course he totally ignored that statement, and he just keeps arguing the point. So this ought to be pretty funny, because he's going to basically, I think, attempt to measure it on a chalkboard or something, and the dimensions won't be anything realistic to the actual dimensions of 500 nanometers compared to 3 meters, which are the 500 nanometers difference in 3-meter circle. So a circle with a radius of 3 meters versus an extra 500 nanometers. That's how tiny the ellipse is. Okay, and he says it makes a dramatic difference. I mean, the bars get, hugely change in shape. Little tiny ones, and they'll be 10 times bigger, at the size of the ellipse. Nah. I don't think so, Steve. All right, so that ought to be interesting. All right, so that's coming soon to a theater near you. All right, so, and we'll read some of his crap, because he just keeps saying it. And it's just so, it's just so stupid. But anyway, I mean, it's great in the sense that he's said all this crap, and it's just going to look, in hindsight, sorry, Steve, you're not going to look very smart. So anyway, this has been a Draft Science video presentation. Until next time, and such.